Hi guys, Puddin here with a game in my Tier 8 US Premium Battleship, the Alabama. Now, part of the reason I had picked this battleship replay over some of my other ones is, apologize for that, is Tier 8 matchmaking has been getting a bit of a raw deal, and as it usually sees tier 10s. Tier 9s are fine, but the tier 10s just seem to be a little bit too much at times. And even when I do manage to get in some of those games, I see the higher tier ships coming in last. And as you can see from the team lineup, prior to the start we are top tier. We are the top tier battleship. There's one T8 battleship on each side. My division mate, also my clan mate, is in a top tier DD. And I do believe we have one T8 in the form of a Mogami. Now, even when I've been playing in my T6s and 7s, I've been seeing the top tier guys come in bottom of the scoreboard thinking they can just throw their weight around. Even at these mid to lower tiers, you can still get focus fired and die, which is part of the reason why I showed this. Now, luckily for me, this is yet again a standard battle in my top tier battleship, just like in the Bismarck video, which means we don't have to play as aggressive at the start of the game. There's no need to get anywhere in a hurry, because your main goal is to 1. Defend your cap, or 2. Cap the enemy cap. As we can see, the enemy Benson is coming over on our side, but I still want to take somewhat of an aggressive push to maybe slow these guys down, not let these guys get a good foothold in behind these islands, to be able to pelt myself and my teammates. Now, as you can tell, we do have carriers. We do have the Saipan. The enemy do have a Ranger. Now, I was being patient with my shots because I wanted to get good salvos in to potentially give us the lead, as they get a nice 18,000 damage done to the New Mexico, I do believe it was. As you can hear my AA going off for these enemy dive bombers. Now, I do want to take a crack at the enemy cruiser because he's starting to show me some side. I was hoping he was going to finish his turn just a little bit. Unfortunately, he did not, but I still get a nice 3,000 damage. Now, because there were more than just the Benson torpedoes, I'm like, there's another destroyer in the area. So I immediately cut my speed. And started reversing, as my division mate said he was popping smoke behind me to try to help the York out. I noticed the enemy grasped me over here, saw that he's reversing, but what he was doing was he wasn't going into reverse, he was starting to go forward. He wasn't going to continue. Now, I figured any sane cruiser would start hauling it with a broadside battleship, or being broadside to a battleship, but this guy only goes forward a little bit as my front 2 guns fire and only do 1,000 damage. Then I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? He's just reversing. Now he's just going forward. Now he's going full steam, which is why he put the shots mid-ship, because it just seemed that guy seemed to be a little bit indecisive in his maneuvering. No good targets except for this broadside warspite. Fortunately, we can't see what we did to him, but this is what I mean by low tier ships can ruin your day even as high tier. As you can see, this gentleman is on low health. Now, I want to take a crack at him to get him out of the game, because that means I would not have to deal with him. It would also mean our carrier wouldn't have to deal with that, with his glorious AA, which can kind of handle the side pack. But the enemy North Carolina is going to play it smart. He's going to retreat and get some of his health back. I am trying to push up a little bit to get better shots, and then I see the Benson and the smoke cloud. Now, the reason I stopped focused on the North Carolina is because something was shooting me. If the USDD is shooting you, he has already dropped his torpedoes. As you can see, there goes not only his torpedoes, but the other DD's torpedoes in the area. Now, notice I was going to overturn into this last one, so I immediately cut back, but I take my shots in on the Benson. Now, the other thing, guys, is if you are in a DD and you do have torps on somebody, don't shoot them unless you know 100% your torps are not going to hit. And as you can see, if you're paying attention to the team panel up top, that is the first kill this team has gotten in this game, and we are already over 7 minutes into it. We were down 4 ships. Well, we still are down 4 ships, but we were down 4 to nothing, nothing. But now we did manage to get 1. Now, being down this many ships means, you know, the enemy is probably going to get very aggressive as my teammate tries to torpedo me. Luckily for me, I was too close. And for those of you who did not know, torpedoes, all torpedoes have an arming distance. Even the torp planes from Garrus, they are on a timer, and the ship-based ones are on distance, I believe. If you ever pull up your torpedo line indicator, you always see that little curve of the green. It means anything with inside that area to your ship to the beginning of the green, or what it really is the range of your torpedoes, but anything to the beginning of that, your torpedoes will not arm in time.
Torpedoes deployed.
More torpedoes coming my direction. I have lost absolutely all faith in our DD to do anything useful after his torpedo drop that nearly would have potentially killed me, due to the fact he would have taken a lot of my health away. And usually if somebody's dumb enough to taunt me, I let it flood just to guarantee they go pink. Going to take a shot on the broadside German battleship, and I get a nice 19,000 damage. But more importantly, I am broadside to him, which is what I don't want to be. It's 11 kilometers. It is going to be relatively easy for this gentleman to punch right through and hit my citadel. But I am fully retreating because of the last DD is still in the area. I just don't want to deal with him. Get my AA focused on the fighters to help out our carrier. The enemy battleship manages to turn, realizes his error, and doesn't want to be pummeled again. Now at this point, we've only managed to kill 3. We really need to start finishing off these low health ships to try to help out teammates and try to get them back in the fight instead of trying to just chip away at enemy ships' health, as I get my second kill on the Scharnhorst. Let's see, like I'm saying, by doing that, that frees up my division mate and the other battleship in the area to where, you know, now they're not fighting the Scharnhorst, the Graspe, and the 2 battleships who I do believe were focused over here, but they're down to just having to worry about one less ship. Now, the reason I am staying a little bit broadside or showing these guys the side of my ship is I want them to look at me. Luckily, the Byron and the Warspite are. Now that I notice that they are looking at me, I can angle, which means that their guns are facing my direction, not my teammates, which means they are, in essence, just fighting one ship over there. In order for these guys to quickly get their guns to bear, they're going to have to turn their ships and present me with nice broadside targets. But luckily they are content with just shooting at me and trying to chip away at my health. Warspite is showing plenty of side. Wanted to check and see what the second enemy battleship was doing. Gonna take a shot at him, aiming for the front guns as I get a nice 6,000 damage. But, you know, having a Warspite, knowing its slow traverse is why I wanted to try to keep these guys focused on me, because in order for him to turn his guns with relative quickness, he would, in essence, be turning his ship. Division mate asked me to take a shot at the New Mexico. I failed to see him cut his speed as I was shooting. I tell him, you know, I would love to, but I've got a cruiser coming up behind me. I'm gonna take one more crack at these guys, and then I need to focus on this cruiser before he starts burning me down. I see the Warspite is on potential one-shot health, so I'm going to take a crack at him. The division mate asked if I want smoke. I said no. Smoke at this point would be a bad idea, because if he gets spotted and dies, there's really no sight except for the carrier. And you know what, I'd rather him have the smoke for himself if he needed it. But at this point he did kind of realize that, yeah, we needed to be a distraction. As the North Carolina gets a nice hit on me. As you can see how much health that gentleman has gotten back. Would have been nice if our carrier would have tried to finish him off sooner than having to deal with this guy now. I've got to deal with this cruiser. This cruiser makes an immensely large mistake. The mistake he made was, instead of trying to get a fire on me and then deal with my division mate, he focuses on my division mate, which is giving me ample time to focus on him, Because what he should have done was get me on fire, then deal with the DD as soon as he sees my repairs out, get me back on fire, and then deal with my division mate again as I get the final, as I get my first citadel on him for the final shot to kill him. As our carrier comes in and saves my bacon, and what I mean by saves my bacon is well within his secondary range, which means I could have potentially just burned to death. Gonna take a shot at North Carolina. He is presenting me side, but he did turn in. But it's still got a nice 8,000 damage done to him. But that's what I'm saying about the cruiser messed up. If he would have had a fire on me, that Byron got one, I definitely would have popped my repair for 2 fires. I just don't have the health to let any of them, to let 2 fires burn me down to death. And it could have gave the enemy battleship another chance at getting a fire on me, or him, instead of him finishing off the DD. And then just dying to me. A friendly carrier comes in. Now I'm trying to stay angled to 2 battleships, which is not exactly the easiest, especially for the because of the NC at this range. It can do a lot of damage. Need to finish him off. As I finally finish that gentleman off with the help of the carrier for my 5th kill of the game. Now I make a slight error in this one, but luckily for me, only you guys get to see it. I don't. Nobody in this game gets to see the drastic mistake that I make. My shells can easily go through the bow of this New Mexico. As you can see here, there's a nice 6,000 damage, but I had loaded HE in anticipating a bow on fight. It's sort of what I've been doing at high tiers. If I know I can't go through the bow or do get good damage, I'm just going to switch to HE and get the damage repair out for the cruisers. Then I'll switch back to AP. Luckily, the carrier comes in. I'm going to take a shot in anyways, hoping that I could have potentially gotten that 6th kill, but no. Now guys, as you can see, we managed to pull this game back. Now I asked the enemy CV if he's got any planes left. Our carrier thinks I'm talking to him. I can clearly see he's got planes left. I can watch him go back to his ship right now. But I am not going to drag this out for you guys anymore. We are going to win this. I'm going to get one crack at the carrier. It is going to be a blind shot over the island. And I do manage to get an extra 6,000 damage from the carrier. So now we are just going to look at the post-battle results. 140,000 damage, Confederate, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed, and with that, #1 on the team with base experience of 2,500. And of course, I walked away with some money. It is what premium ships do. No matter what tier they are, they just make you money. 139,000 damage coming from main batteries, and only 500 from the secondaries. Really hope you guys enjoyed this replay. Please keep your replays coming in. We do enjoy them. The link to, or the email is in the description down below. And please remember, guys, compliment good players, good teamwork. We are quick to report, slow to compliment. And have yourselves one heck of a great day.